Are you ready for high-speed motorsports talk about your local short track? You've come to the right place. Get ready to hear from some of the top stars of Seekonk Speedway right here on the Race Day Rewind podcast series. We'll hear it all, from pure excitement, the disappointment of coming so close, the frustrations of contact on the track, and the thrill of winning a race or a championship. The Seekonk Speedway podcast series is a production of Sousa Media. Now let's get to the show. The Seekonk Speedway podcast series is a production of Seekonk Speedway and Sousa Media. For more information on Sousa Media, visit kylesousa.com. And for more information on Seekonk Speedway, visit seekonkspeedway.com. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Seekonk Speedway podcast series. This time, our preview for the upcoming Fast Friday season, specifically in this podcast for the Helgers South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stock Division that will be racing each and every Friday night at Seekonk Speedway from now right through September, when we will crown our champion as part of our new playoff format in 2022, with the Final Four series beginning, of course, in the Pure Stocks. 8 drivers will run in the first race, 6 in the second race, and then the Final Four, with the winner being the first of those 4 drivers to finish that final race. There's a lot of anticipation for the Pure Stock division going into 2022, and for good reason. This division puts on some of the best racing at Seekonk Speedway, hands down. I mean, there is no question that the Pure Stock division is one of the best at Seekonk Speedway. I have zero doubts that this division is going to put on another fantastic show in 2022. You've got a mix of guys that have been in this division for years. Greg Perry, 2-time and defending champion. Danny Massa. Billy Schwinard's been in this division probably since it was started, just about. And no, Billy, I'm not calling you an old man. I know we'll laugh about that in the pits one of these nights. But in general, you got a guy like Ethan Souza that's coming up as a rising star. Austin Flanagan really moving up from the Sport 4s into the Pure Stocks at the end of last year. Emily Brightman, a rising star, coming up. So it's really a good mix in the Pure Stocks of veterans and rookies. There's really a double-edged sword there in what happens in this division. You can get it from both sides, and I think we're going to see much of the same in 2022. I don't expect to see anything different. I expect to see these guys run at the front of the pack, and as the season rolls along, I expect this championship battle to be one of the most competitive at Seekonk Speedway, and I seriously mean that. It is going to be a tough pick to pick a champion in the Helgers South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stocks. But let's give it a shot. Let's talk through some of the guys that are going to be front runners, some of the girls we see at the front of the pack. Let's give it a rundown on who we expect to be winning, running for the championship, etc. over the course of the year. I mentioned Greg Perry. He's one to me we got to watch. 2-time and defending champion of this class. He's been the class of the field for many, many years. Greg is not one to go out there and win 5 to 6 races. Greg is one to go out there and run consistently and be there at the end when it comes time to crown the champion. This year is going to be a little bit different with this playoff format. We'll see how he adapts to that. I think that's going to be something we're going to have to watch over the course of the year to see how much of a threat Greg Perry is going to be. I expect him to run at the front. I expect him to run well. And I expect him to be in the Final Four. The Taunton Mass native is going to be a threat. I mentioned Danny Massa. Danny came out of the box on fire last year in the Pure Stocks. Multiple wins to start the year. On Fast Friday, we have this rule to keep the competition a little bit more even. When a driver wins, they have to add 25 pounds of weight to their car in the right front. That rule bit Danny Massa last year. Once he added the weight, he won multiple races. They lost the setup on the 41. It's a tough game to play. You want to go out there and win as many races as possible. You're not going to give up the win so you don't have to add the weight, but it's tough. I just expect that Greg Perry and Danny Massa are going to be your 2 favorites in this division again this year. They've got the 2 best cars, in my opinion, the 2 most consistent cars. Those are the 2 we got to watch. Massa's right there. Has never won the championship. I know he's dying to win the title in the Helgers South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stocks. 2022 could very well be the year for Danny Massa. Another driver to watch. There's many. Timmy Ouellette moved up from our Seekonk Youth Racing Association division a couple of years ago. Last year, he won the Triple Crown title. This year, Everett's Auto Parts is going to present the Triple Crown again. And Timmy Olette's a major threat to me. Timmy's fast. He's consistent. He's always at the front. Uses the outside lane very well, which we don't see a lot in our divisions. A lot of people are hesitant to get up there in the outside lane. Timmy Olette's not. Timmy Olette is a threat every Friday night, and he's a threat to use that outside lane, and that's why I like him so much to be a contender this year, especially on that final night if he makes the Final Four. He's not a threat to go out there and bust off 8-10 wins over the course of the year, but he's going to get a victory, no doubt, and I think he's probably going to get multiple, and he's going to be in contention for the championship in 2022. So we will watch Timmy Olette to see what he's able to do over the course of the 2022 season. Now, another driver to watch in the Helger South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stocks is Jim Riley. If you remember back to the end of last year, we had Jim Riley on the podcast series after he picked up his first career win in this division. If you were there that night, you remember the Donut Fest that he put on with the burnouts that created some of the most smoke I think I've ever seen at Seekonk Speedway. He's going to be a threat this year again in the Helger South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stocks. Jim in that number 74, a major contender in this division last year, expecting him to be up there at the front of the field again in 2022. How about a name like Sam Lincoln and Matt Talbot? Two other drivers that kind of slid under the radar last year, but in my opinion had speed and had consistent years. Sam comes to us from Yarmouth Point, Massachusetts. Matt comes to us from North Dighton. They're both going to be threats, I think, in the Helger South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stocks in 2022. Here's a couple other names to watch. Jeremy Lambert and Mike Rotundo. Jeremy's from Westport, veteran of this division, been doing it many years, has multiple wins, struggled a little bit last year in the middle of the year, but got to victory lane at the end of the year. And Jeremy's going to come out of the box strong, I think. He's going to be one we're going to have to watch all year in the Pure Stocks. Mike Rotundo's from Rehoboth, kind of got his feet wet last year as a rookie contender in the Pure Stock division. Watch out for him in 2022. I think he's going to be a threat. I think he's going to be a strong contender, and I have confidence in that, so we'll see what he's able to do this year. Mike Hendricks from Totten's, another veteran of the Pure Stock division, been at the front for many, many years. Mike Hendricks is one I would watch in the Helger South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stocks. He drives the 03. He is going to be a contender. How about Justin Menard from Taunton, Massachusetts, another one that had speed last year that kind of slipped under the radar? He's going to be a threat. Fairhaven, Mass's Nick Brightman is in the Brightman family. Speaking of Brightmans, how about Emily Brightman in the 27? The two Brightman family members here, Nick in the 5, Emily in the 27. Nick was really strong in the middle of last year. I know it didn't quite end how he wanted, but he wants to get to victory lane. I think he's going to possibly be there this year. Emily's been improving each and every year. She's going to be a threat this year, and who knows, maybe Emily Brightman can get to victory lane in the 27. How about Ed Gold and Bill Schwannard? I mentioned Schwannard, former Pure Stock front runner, runs on and off during the course of the year. I expect him to be in the front. How about Ed Gould from Exeter, Rhode Island? Hasn't run a lot, but a veteran of this division. We got to watch him. Jared Cadera drives the 20 from Tiverton. Another one with speed last year. Didn't get to victory lane, but one I expect is going to be up towards the front of the field when it matters most come the end of the season. Behind the wheel in the number 6 machine. Excuse me. Ed Gould's in the 6. Jared Cadera is in the 20. So we'll watch for Jared this year. I already messed up my car numbers and we haven't even got the season started. That's not a good sign in the Pure Stocks. Couple other names to watch this year. I mentioned Austin Flanagan, the rising star in the 28. I think Austin's going to come out strong. I could see him getting to victory lane over the course of the year. So watch for Austin Flanagan to be a major contender in the Pure Stocks this season. How about Matthew DeRoches, the Riverside, Rhode Island native in the 31? We'll see if he runs at the front. I mentioned Ethan Souza. I'm not talking about him too much right now because he's going to join us here coming up in the next segment, so we'll talk about him. Rob Hendrickson, the Woonsocket, Rhode Island native. I expect him to be a contender this year. Donald Kudamash is a Seekonk Speedway official of the past. He's moving into the Pure Stocks from Pawtucket, taking over for Joey Morissette, who has moved to the West Coast and not going to be racing this year. The list goes on and on. Joe Gardner in the 02 from Whitman, Mass. is a newcomer this year, along with Gary Conrad from North Providence, Rhode Island. They're two to watch. Justin Rio, the Rehoboth, Mass. native, drives the 14. We'll see what he can do in 2022. It's another long list in the Pure Stocks, and I expect it to continue for years to come. This division, as I mentioned, puts on one of the best shows at Seekonk Speedway, and I think they're probably going to do it again in 2022. So let's see what happens in the Helger South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stocks. Again, that's just a brief overview of what we're expecting. Let's see how 2022 goes for some of these guys. And let's take a break and come back and talk to Ethan Souza, who we expect to run at the front of the field, and we expect to run at the front of the field often in the Helgers South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stocks. He's going to help us walk through what he is looking for this year and maybe some of the contenders he expects to compete with. And we will ask him about the competition with Freddie Estelle, a multiple-time Pro Stock champion who's part of this team that helps him get to the track and compete at a high level. We'll ask him how, we'll ask him why. Coming up right here in the Seekonk Speedway Race Day Preview Podcast Series for the Helgers South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stocks. Stick with us around the break. All right, welcome back to the Helgers South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stock Division Preview for 2022. Depending on when you're listening to this, I hope you got to it before the start of the Fast Friday season on May 27th. If not, oh well. You might have seen what happened opening night. I don't even know at this point what's going to happen opening night. We will find out here in a couple of nights. Of course, Friday, May 27th is opening day for our Fast Friday series. Going to be very exciting to see what happens here in 2022 in this Helgers South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stock Division. There's so many guys and girls that I could see winning races, and so many names I could pick out as drivers that make that Final Four. And of course, that's the goal, right? You want to make the Final Four and then see what happens in that last race. And our guest here on the hotline on the Helgers South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stock Division Preview, before I get to him, I do want to thank Rich Helger and his team at Helgers South Coast Power Equipment for their support of this division again in 2022. Big supporters of this class and our NASCAR Saturday Sportsman and a lot of other things at the track. They're located in Westport, Mass. They offer the latest and greatest in power equipment products. They've got lawnmowers, chainsaws, generators, weed whackers. Believe me, I've been in there. They got everything regarding lawn equipment. So check them out. They're located in Westport. You can also visit them on Facebook at South Coast Power Equipment and online at southcoastpowerequipment.com. Grab a pen. 774-264-9550 is their phone number. Yes, I know that by heart by now. Thanks to Rich and his team. We appreciate it. I know Ethan appreciates it. And let's welcome in Ethan Souza, driver of car number 30, of course, coming on strong there in the second half of last year and getting to victory lane behind the wheel of the number 30. A very impressive late to the season run for you, Ethan. Now, let's go back and talk through last year. What was it about the second half of the year that really got you guys going and got you fast enough to get up there and get out to win? Because I remember the first two times you went out, you had trouble with the car. There was some smoke, but it didn't take long for you to really get going and get to the front of the field fast.
Yeah, first, thanks for having me. But yeah, it started off slow at the beginning of the season. Like you mentioned, definitely had some transmission issues. Missed the first couple weeks, missed all the practices. So I think it was actually the third week was really the first time I turned a lap in that car. We learned every time we got out on the track, got better, and then put us on the pole one night and had a decent car and took advantage of it.
Yeah, so you get to victory lane for the first time. Now, I know there's a lot of fans listening, and I've been asked this question. How the heck is Freddie Estelle involved with Ethan Souza? And, we see him come to the track with you on Friday, and I think all the years I've seen Freddie, of course, he won all those championships, won all those races in the Pro Stocks. This might be some of the most fun I've ever seen him have. And some of the fans listening know, when you talk to Freddie, if he's in a good mood, he's having a ton of fun. If he's not in a good mood, he probably doesn't want to talk to you that day. But seriously, Ethan, I think we've seen him have so much fun with you over the course of the season last year. And as we get ready to roll into 2022, help the fans and kind of quickly explain to them how he became involved here, why he's involved, and how much you look up to him. And, I don't want to say he's your mentor, but I feel like with the support he's giving you, that might be a fair statement. You can tell us.
Oh, yeah, he absolutely is. He's my uncle, and ever since I can remember, I've been going to the track and watching him race and seeing the success he had. Just unbelievable. I always knew I wanted to do that, kind of follow in his footsteps. But, yeah, we have so much fun. I mean, working in the garage, him telling me stories from, when he first started racing and stories from his uncle and his father racing. Like I said, we just have so much fun. And I really lean on him, for his advice and everything. And I couldn't do this without him. But yeah, it's awesome. We have a lot of fun.
So, coming into 2022, we've got this new playoff format, which is going to be very interesting, to say the least, to see how it shakes out. Obviously, the goal is to win the championship. I think that's obviously the number one goal of all competitors in this division, and really all of our other divisions as well, moving into 2022. Obviously, you want to win races, but when you look at 2022 and you look at what's ahead here with this playoff format, and take that out as well, just with the race season in general, what makes you the most excited? What are you looking forward to the most here as we roll into the new season to get out there and get back to work and see how many checkered flags you can pull off over the course of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just going to take it 1 week at a time. I think the car was really good in the 2 practices that we had. So, like I said, take it 1 week at a time and try to win races. And I know that's not going to happen every week, but just be consistent and put together the best possible finishes we can.
Yeah, I mean, the finishes are what's going to get you there to the top 8 in the Helger South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stocks for the season. And once you get there, I mean, what's the vibe going into this? Some drivers are on board with it, some probably not so much because it takes away the consistency for them. But I think for a guy like you, once you make that top 8, Ethan, you have a real shot at winning this championship, especially with the speed in that car. And it must make you very excited to know when you get to that last night, you have a serious chance at becoming champion of the Pure Stocks this year. Obviously, that would be a major accomplishment. But I'm sure you're really happy to see and kind of see how this shakes out as the season gets going. And once we do get going, you're going to be real busy, of course, running all these Fridays over the course of the year. So you're probably excited to see how it's going to shake out for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it does, play to our advantage a little bit. But, like you mentioned, still have to stay consistent. And like I said, we're just going to take it 1 week at a time.
So, coming into 2022, you're one of many drivers in this division that's got a lot of sponsors. And, of course, that's all of our divisions across both Fast Friday and NASCAR Saturday. Without the sponsors, it's really not possible for you guys to be able to go out there and do what you do. So, who are some of these people that make it possible for Ethan Souza to get to the track, get out there on the track, and race at this level, which is very, very difficult? And I know a lot of people make it seem easy on Fast Friday, but all you guys work just as hard as the Saturday drivers, if not harder in some cases. And this is not easy to go out there, and you need a lot of help to make it possible for you to do it.
Yeah, I got to thank Stevie's Wine and Spirits, Lucky's Irish Pub, Mo Life, Catman Sports, Lumberyard, Keep It Clean Detailing, Family Chiropractic Center, and as we mentioned, Uncle Fred for everything he's done, and my fiance Kylie. She helps us out a bunch, and I thank her for letting me do this and live out my dream.
Well, he's living out his dream, and he's hoping to live out that dream in victory lane many times, I know, over the course of the 2022 season here at Seekonk Speedway. Ethan, we really appreciate it. We talked off the air. Ethan is one of the drivers that listens to us pretty much on a regular basis here in the podcast. Of course, some of you are race fans, some of you are drivers. And, Ethan, we do appreciate the time. We do wish you great luck this year, and we look forward to hopefully chatting with you a little bit more here on the podcast, hopefully for you as a feature winner here before long.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, that's been Ethan Souza, and that has been the 2022 edition of the Seekonk Speedway Helger South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stock Division Preview. We are very excited to see how this division shakes out. As I mentioned, it's one of our top divisions in competition, and really has some of the most competition we've seen in many, many years at Seekonk Speedway, and it's going to happen once again in 2022 right here at the Action Track of the East. Action begins on Friday, May 27th, 7 p.m. It's just $10 to get in. I mean, how ridiculous is that when it comes down to entertainment? That is cheap, really cheap for a Friday night of entertainment. There's no reason why you don't come down to Seekonk Speedway. These days with the entertainment, it costs you $15 just to drive somewhere. It's going to cost you just $10 to get in the gate to watch 5 divisions of racing. Guys and girls like Ethan are going to be out there. Females in some of our other divisions, including the Pure Stocks like Emily Brightman, will be out there. It's a great mix and a great group of diverse drivers across all of our Fast Friday divisions. So, thanks to Ethan Souza again for joining us. My name is Kyle Souza. Thanks for listening to the Seekonk Speedway Helger South Coast Power Equipment Pure Stock Division Preview. We look forward to seeing you at the track, and you can buy your tickets in advance. Don't forget, SeekonkSpeedway.com for tickets and all the information regarding our 2022 events.